Who doesn't know about Erling Haaland? This Norwegian is currently the most desired football player in the world. Though almost every big club has attempted to poach him, he chose Manchester City this year and has signed a 4-year deal. But do you know that unlike Ronaldo, Messi, and many other renowned players who were born natural talents for soccer, Haaland wasn't always this good at it. He was a very average player in his childhood and didn't even know about his own hidden potential that would one day lead him to become one of the greatest football players of all time. But if he didn't have the attitude from the very start, how did he manage to achieve everything he has ever accomplished in his career? What made him so good that he is regarded as one of the world's best players today? If you want the answers to these questions, stay tuned, as in this video, we will see how Haaland transformed from a below-average talented player to one of the best young players in the world. Hello, and welcome back to the video. To better understand Erling's struggle in his earlier years, let's take a flashback to his childhood. Born in 2000 in England, Erling's father was also a professional soccer player. Erling Haaland, the father of Erling, played for Leeds United at the time Erling was born. This was a major driving factor in developing his interest in the game. After retiring, his father took his family back to Norway and his hometown, Barina. Though not very good at football, Erling was still very athletic as a kid. He took part in various sports and he excelled in most. He even set a record for the longest standing jump. In spite of all this, Haaland soon recognized his passion for football and devoted his heart and soul to it. At this time, he was playing at the Barina Academy. The academy had many children, and everyone played together irrespective of age or level. Many of the players were older than Haaland, and this enabled him to improve even more as he became more competitive. His coach saw his dedication, and Haaland even got offers from other academies, which he declined happily, as he was more than delighted playing in Barina. In his later years, Erling himself said that it was the academy system that made him what he is today. The rigorous training started to pay off only after a few years, and his father also left no stone unturned in training his son and held countless sessions focused on educating him alone. He gave him the knowledge about soccer that he had gained over his life, and this developed him mentally for the sport. Interestingly, in the earlier years, even his body didn't favor the sport he had chosen for himself. When it comes to football, height plays a key role in your performance. From snatching the ball to running faster than your opponents, being taller certainly does favor a player most of the time. In his teenage years, he watched most of the children his age outgrow him, and it was thought that his height would not let him get far in the sport. He was way below average, and this affected his performance. Even the guys who used to play with him back in the day say that he was perfect in every way, except his height. He was very small, and this thing was very problematic. But who knew that once he would start growing, he would become this 6'2" giant of a man he is today. However, he didn't achieve that stature normally. Once his height did start spurting, it didn't stop. He started growing at such a tremendous rate that it was considered abnormal. He grew more than a staggering 7 inches in a span of only a few months, which a normal human takes years to achieve. Growing at this pace, he was very susceptible to uneven growth, and due to this reason, his training was also much different from others. His coach limited his physical training by removing some parts of the drill and also by reducing the time he spent practicing with the ball each day. He spent even less than half of the time his mates spent training every day. But all of this was for his own benefit, and he managed to get through that growth phase without any injuries or deformities. Now Erling has a decent build, and he can be regarded as muscular. But this wasn't always the case. He was a scrawny kid back in the day, and his low weight was another obstacle he had to overcome. One of his first coaches at the academy, Bernstein, said he was quite average-sized, but because he trained with older boys, he lacked a bit in his height. He wasn't small in size, but he was skinny, very skinny. Haaland always had problems with gaining weight. Though he had very little fat, still, the muscle on his frame was also very insignificant. He had a very fast metabolism, so no matter how much he ate, he burnt it all off. His coach noticed that physical weakness could hinder his performance on the field, so he helped Erling gain weight. Eating a huge caloric surplus, along with proper weight training, helped him gain a lot of weight fast. Most of the gained weight was quality muscle tissue, and this helped Haaland, not only in situations like tackling, where strength is required, but also in running faster and for longer periods of time. The confidence boost was also an added benefit, and this directly helped him on the field. The change could be clearly seen in many of the matches that had occurred after his dramatic transformation. So after solving all these problems, the real journey began for our player when he moved from his local team to one of the biggest Norwegian teams, Molde. His debut for the Blue and Whites was back in 2017, and he even became the breakout star. But he didn't stop there, and his rampage continued even in the U20 Cup. He scored an unbelievable total of 9 goals out of the 12 total that his team had against Honduras. If that's not impressive, I don't know what else is. Haaland caught attention from everywhere, and all the clubs recognized this young talent for the first time ever. This was the time when things started to change for the better for Erling, and he was now on the right path. Red Bull Salzburg signed him up, and he certainly didn't disappoint them either. In his debut game in Champions League, Erling scored 3 goals against the Belgian side Genk. You might call it his lucky day, but in his next games, he also showed the same promising results and reached a total of 8 goals throughout Champions League group stage. He quickly became the most sought-after attacker after this mind-blowing performance. The German side Dortmund seized this opportunity and signed a €20 million contract with him, making him their main attacker. It was a very important step, as playing in Dortmund also enabled him to only improve even further. His coach at Salzburg, Jesse Marsch, while describing Haaland, said, "He is positive, energetic, electrifying. He works hard and takes nothing for granted. Of course he's talented, but when you combine it with his personality, that's what makes him really special. He's only going to get better." And this couldn't have been more true. A large factor in the success of Haaland has been his personality. In addition to being an exceptional player, he also is a very good human being and has a kind heart. He has remained humble through his career, and for this attribute, people love him even more. Haaland concluded his 2019-20 campaign with 44 goals and 40 club appearances across all competitions, played for both Salzburg and Dortmund. People have even started to compare him with the legendary Zlatan Ibrahimovic for his exceptional goal-scoring skills, which somehow just seem to get better and better. Haaland currently has his hopes held high up, and he doesn't plan to slow down anytime soon. He wants to work even harder and become an even better player than he is today. As already discussed, Manchester City has confirmed that Erling Haaland will be joining them on a 4-year deal in the summer transfer window, and the deal has been agreed on with a staggering fee of €51 million. It's a lot of money for a club to pay, but if Erling continues like he has done until now, Manchester City will earn a great deal of money having a player like him up front. What do you think the future of this star will look like? Will he be the next greatest after Messi and Ronaldo? Let us know in the comments section. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. If you liked the video, please do consider subscribing and sharing so we can keep bringing more content like this. Tell us your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you next time.